So in this video, how to install cable railing on a deck like this. Stick around. So now I'm getting ready to start the cable on the long side. This is gonna be about a 20-foot cable run. And it's the same process as what I did over there before. I'm gonna use this handy template, which I think is priceless. I definitely think this is worthwhile getting. In addition to having all the holes pre-marked for us at 3 inches, it comes with a whole instruction set on the back. So pretty cool. But again, I'm gonna start with my drill bit, the right drill bit. This one, I've already marked it with some tape. And I'm just gonna start my holes with the bit. Another thing to note here is I started this first hole at 3 inches down, and then I know the remaining holes are 3 inches apart, and then this space down here is no more than 3 inches as well. These are the bolts going in. Put a little piece of tape on the bit so I know where to stop. You'll notice the way I put this 4x4 on the wall was with these two concrete anchors here. And I made sure I spaced those concrete anchors just right to avoid our drilling spots. So that was all in the planning. And I got lucky it worked out. Just realized my hat was on sideways, sorry about that. Now what I'm gonna do is take these lag fittings and then thread them into these holes. And I'm gonna use a wrench to get it done. In this case, I need the 7/16. And I start by hand tightening it. And one thing to be mindful of here is not to tighten these fittings down here. These are the fittings that crimp onto the cable. You don't want to snug those up now. As I learned kind of the hard way on the other side, if you snug those up now, you could actually compress the compression fitting in there, and you don't want to do that now. So I want to make sure just to use this nut here to tighten these lags. Another way to do this is you can slide this over like this. Again, you don't want to tighten this one. Go all the way over, and then you could slide it back, light it again, might go a little quicker. As I tighten these down, I just want to go to where the threads are in the 4x4. I want to leave a little bit of that extra space sticking out. This is for aesthetic reasons, and also if I need to maybe tighten a little bit on this end, it gives me the freedom to do that. Most of the tension is going to be done, if not all the tension is going to be done on the other side with our tension fittings. Now we need to drill holes so we can put the cables through our 4x4 post. Now in this case, I believe this system requires that the cable doesn't hang any more than 4 feet apart. So when I installed these 4x4 posts, I installed them no wider than 4 feet apart. And then now what I need to do is take the drill bit that came with the toolkit and drill through. So what I'm going to do now is I've got this up, the template ready to go. I'm going to start my holes, and then I'll come back and I'll use a speed squirt like this to kind of make sure I keep the bit nice and straight. So there we go, all the holes are drilled in this post, and I'll repeat this process on all the posts until I get all the way to the other side. Okay, so now that we are at our termination point, I'm going to install a little bit different setup here. This is the tensioner dead end essentially. So these screw in like this, and then they allow us to tighten the cable. However, it's a different attachment than what I've shown before. In this case, we have these 3 little screw holes. So what I need to do is these little holes here mark the locations of these little screw holes. So I'm just going to use my drill to mark those locations. Then I'm going to come back with some stainless steel screws and attach these. And this is actually the bit that came with the Rail Easy toolkit. I'm guessing this is a 1/8 bit, and that's what we're using. I'll just pre-drill my holes a little bit deeper. In their toolkit, they even provide the right bit for the mounting screws that come with them. There we go. So there we go. Now that we got all our tensioners installed, I can go ahead and start running the cable. These are ready to go. Now it's time to run the cable. And when you open this stuff up, it becomes a mess. So I don't know if there's a better way to do it, but you just gotta be careful when you open it up, and there's really no easy way to organize it. So I'm just gonna feed it through. I'm gonna start at the bottom, feed it through, go all the way across, and I'm gonna do one cable at a time. Now that we've got it down at this end, I can go ahead and insert this cable into this fitting and snug it down. And I'm going to show you how I do that here right now. Unthread this piece and be careful. There's a little washer right there. You don't want it to fall off. And then shove this through. Let's see, we've got this fitting here. Push that down so the little wire comes out. And then push this through the washer. Washer on. Push it through. If I can. Once you get it snug, we're going to take 2 7/16 wrenches, and then I can tighten it. Nice and snug. Okay, so down at this end, what I want to do is have this bolt threaded out a good ways, about 1 inch or so at least. Longer the run, probably the more. I think you can go max 1.5 inches. And then we want to do is pull our cable tight and cut it right there. You want to cut the cable just right. You don't want to cut it too long. So you cut it too long, you're screwed. If you cut it too short, you're screwed. So you want to line it up right where it needs to be cut. And then take it and squeeze it all hard and cut it. Okay, now that it's cut, this connection, similar to the other side, you can probably undo this a hair more. Oh shoot. We gotta watch out for this washer here. We take the cap, put that on first, the compression fitting, slide that on. Then you want to make sure to go over the washer. And kind of tighten that down. Kind of hand loosen it now. I don't want to over tighten it right yet. Okay, got that. And now that I got it in there, I want to tighten this down to get that compression fitting just right. So I'm going to use the 2 wrenches that came with the toolkit, a 3/8 and a 7/16. 3/8 goes on this side. And then we can crank this down. Okay, there we go. 1 down, 7 more to go. To tighten this up, we take the 3/8 wrench like here and the 7/16 inch and snug her down. Okay, 1 more. And if you're confident that everything's in there the way it can be, instead of taking it all apart, you can actually just slide this in, push it all the way in, and then tighten it down. But I'm just going to screw this off just to make sure. See, I don't like that method because it didn't go through the washer and it didn't seep through. So I like to take it off and confirm and tighten it down. Take the 2 wrenches. And I'm just finishing up my last wire here. And this is the only cable I have left over. So I cut it real close. But if you're confident in your measurements, your cable, you can order it just right. Ah, mother. I just dropped that thing all the way downstairs. But if you're real confident in your lengths, you can order pretty close. But it might be a good idea with this system, if you've never used it before, get a little bit more cable and definitely a few more fittings just to experiment with in case something goes wrong. Because if you do hook these up and it's not right, I don't think there's any way you can salvage them. I think you have to get a new fitting. So just an FYI there. But this is the last one. Once I go get my part, put it in there and boom. And I'm going to pull my cable hand tight to about the end of the threads there. Use, again, the snips that came with the toolkit from Atlantis Rail. Get in there, squeeze real hard. Boom. Phone's ringing. So again, Slide this on first. Take the compression barrel, windy side down. Okay, and to tighten these, we just do this. And I'm just going to get them relatively snug. There's a tightening order here. They want us to tighten the middle one first, which would be one of these two, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that, basically all the way up. So this will be your number 1, this will be your number 2, be your number 3, be your number 4, that one's kind of loose, 5, 6, okay. Again, to tighten, we're going to use the 3/8 on here. Again, these are the tools that came with the toolkit. And just tighten this thing down. And then once everything's nice and tight, we just take this lock nut, lock it down. We are good to go. So there we have it. I'm pretty impressed. This is a robust, sturdy railing setup, and it was relatively simple to install, and it looks great. So I really appreciate Atlantis Rail sending the Easy Rail system to sponsor this video, and I am genuinely impressed. Pretty easy to put together. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Once you figure out what you need, the right parts, it's pretty straightforward. I highly recommend getting the supplemental equipment they provide. This template was a lifesaver, really made the project go faster, as well as the wire snips and the appropriate drill bits and wrenches. Just really made the process go much smoother. So thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing. I'm Joe Kistel. In hindsight, I learned that it would be better to get a few extra parts as well as a little bit more cable, because there may be some experimentation and a learning curve when you are new to doing this. So it's a good idea to get a few extra parts and extra cable as well.